All right, we're talking about the Ruby Franke trial. There's some new information that's come out about this. I have to do this here, so I'm going to go ahead and post it up on my YT. Go ahead and follow me on the YT. Well, let's go ahead and just jump into this, huh? Let's do this. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this one. Let's get it started.
It's been a while since we've been able to update you on the court proceedings involving Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt because nothing really had changed. We've been waiting for the prosecution to go over all of the discovery, and then things were going to move.
Okay, before we even get started on this, I do the news here. My name's Bald News. That's why I have to reshoot my video so much. He has to do this like in one go. Okay, it has to be one massive go. There's not a lot of editing to what he does. For me, I get to edit as much as I want to, and when I'm live, like right now, I don't get the option of editing my stuff, so I have to just kind of speed through things. So I feel this guy on that little slip up there because we just have to keep going. You can't stop like me right now.
Move forward. Today, the deputy Washington County attorney requested waiver hearings for later this month. They were requested separately, one intended for Ruby Franke on December 18th, one for Jodi Hildebrandt on December 27th. Waiver hearings can indicate a number of things, including a potential for a plea bargain or just to get both sides together to speak.
Interesting. So if they get this plea bargain, no trial. They will get sentenced, they'll go off, or they won't get sentenced. I don't know what the going rate for child abuse is in Utah, okay? But who knows? I mean, jail time, community service, who knows? One might throw the other under the bus. Who knows? But so there might not be a trial.
I spoke with a criminal defense attorney, Sky Lazaro, about where this case appears to be right now. What is a waiver hearing?
A waiver hearing is a procedural hearing set by the court. It's more of a status conference where the court discusses with the defendant and the prosecutor and defense counsel whether or not the defendant wishes to set a preliminary hearing or potentially waive their right to have a preliminary hearing if there's some sort of plea offer.
Do you get the sense when something like this is scheduled that there have been the discussions and a plea bargain or a guilty plea could be looming?
Not necessarily. These are set as a matter of course. In reviewing the
okay, so these have to happen regardless, is what you're saying. These are set as a matter of course. So what I was thinking was that these people had already talked to some lawyers or whatever, and they wanted to take a plea bargain. So after listening to that, these have to happen regardless. I personally would love, and this is going to sound atrocious, I would love this trial to go on because I want to hear exactly from that YouTube sensation, Ruby Franke, why she did it. And now we can listen for from 2016 on till this year of why she does her things or why she does the things that she does. But why did she tape up or the other person tape up her kids and starve them and not give them water? Why? What kind of monster does that? Because when the child escaped and went to his neighbors, the neighbor cried. The neighbor cried, seeing a poor child like that destroyed by his own mother. God, it's disgusting.
Docket. My sort of take on it is that the prosecutor requests that this be set because it was continued without date previously. And I think their concern is if we don't set something, this case is going to fall through the cracks. We need to get it moving. It is interesting. There was a motion filed for an expedited detention hearing early on in the case. Yeah. Sounded like they wanted to be able to address those things. And then the continuance was filed on the basis that there was, I think, copious amounts of discovery is the language that was used. So I don't.
Copious amounts of discovery? Wow. I wonder if that means that they're going to pour through all the YouTube or pour through all of the, You know, okay, so earlier I did a video on Ruby Franke's husband, and he was mad that they went through his stuff, that the police went through his stuff. When you're going in, okay, to rescue children, you gotta investigate everything. He said some of his stuff was missing. His stuff has been through. You know, police went through his stuff, and it made him angry. Well, how much of that stuff relates to this case? We don't know. We will know if there's a court hearing. We're gonna know what they present to the court. That's all we're gonna know. But I want to know. I want to see what's in there because from what I've seen, and from this child escaping, and from his sister also being tied up with tape and tied up with ropes and lacerations, cuts on them, emaciated, starving, dehydrated. I want to know because this person is a mental fitness instructor, mental fit. It's nothing. It's bull. And she used her religion, which, by the way, I know tons of Mormons not like Ruby Franke. Not at all. Real nice people. Their kids are great. No abuse there. But Ruby Franke's different. Okay, she's out there taping up her kids. How dare you disrespect me? I'm going to tape you up and tie you up and lacerate you, emaciate you. Allegedly. But, yeah, that's where we are. So I would love for this to go to trial so at least we get some of that. It's none of our business. I want those children to never – and this is so bad. We're going to listen to the daughter after this. But it's so bad because – have you ever had parents? I don't know. My parents were very vicious towards me, and I don't blame them for anything. I'm here. I just don't think they were great parents. Both of them were prisoners. You know, they spent a lot of time in. My dad spent a lot of time in San Quentin, and my mom actually met my dad through like a prisoner program, something like that, and they got married. They had us. And very vicious, a lot of domestic violence type situations. But this is going to be really bad for the kids because their parents, maybe parents. I think the dad was involved in a lot of it. I can't prove that, so this is all speculation. But especially these two younger ones that were tied up, taped up, their mom did that to them, allegedly. Otherwise, why did they escape? They hadn't eaten anything. They hadn't drinking anything. You know, he goes over to the neighbors. Neighbor's crying because he sees like this child that's in a really nice neighborhood destroyed by the person that they're supposed to be protecting them, the person that's supposed to love them. And in that sociopathy of that mindset that Ruby Franke has, was eliminating her child from existence.
I don't think this is uncharacteristic of cases where you think, we want to get in front of a judge to discuss detention. It's hard to do that, to argue whether or not the prosecutor has substantial evidence to hold a defendant until you've reviewed what the state has. They're still entitled to a preliminary hearing. It doesn't look like no pleas have been entered and won't be entered until after that. So I don't anticipate anything new happening unless they request another detention hearing, prior to a preliminary hearing being set.
Again, these were requested hearings. They have not been officially scheduled, although the dates and times were recommended. We'll keep you updated on things as we learn them, as we've been doing the whole way. We've been covering the 8 passengers child abuse allegations case for months now.
Let's just go back here real quick. Now, I learned this, obviously from trials onward, but at the last year, 2022, we had, of course, the major trial of the century, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Johnny Depp, the abuser, versus Amber Heard, the saint. The saint, Amber Heard. We found out that was that's quite backwards. But, neither one of them were innocent. However, a lot of the claims, fell apart from Amber Heard to Johnny Depp. So I learned why they do this. They take the makeup off. They, frazzled hair or what have you. Because they want sympathy. Now, Amber Heard, oh my gosh, Amber Heard. Amber Heard talked to the jurors the entire time. She didn't talk to the lawyers. She didn't talk to, she actually did try to talk to Johnny Depp. And she also did talk to the lawyers a little bit. But it was all to the jurors. The jurors thought that was weird. They didn't like her. They thought it was a whole massive performance. Dogs stepping on bees and whatnot. But the reason why they do, they don't wear the makeup and they have, the hair down, and because they want to draw sympathy. So that's why they do this. I thought that was very interesting. Anyway, the next thing we're going to go into, we're going to listen to the daughter. And I think that I haven't heard anything from the daughter. I've just been listening to, the husband's lawyer or, lawyers from Atlanta. And I think this is very interesting because, this whole situation is disgusting to me as a dad. I would never tape up my kids and starve them. Actually, the whole idea of starvation to me sucks because I grew up poor, poor. There was a time when my dad got crushed by a forklift, and we didn't have any money, for years until we finally won that lawsuit, and then we had a little bit of money. But if you're given a lot of money and you don't know how to budget it, you spend through it. And in the next 4 years after that, by the time I was 18, that money was gone. So, because I was 14, no, I was 15. So 3 years. Because I remember by the 18, I was going to college. We didn't have any money. It was gone. All the savings, gone. So, I don't even know where I was going with that. Let's listen to the daughter. But yeah, starving. I would never starve my kids. I've sold stuff so that my kids can have McDonald's. I'm a terrible parent. I bow down to my kid. I'm not a good parent at all. Stop bowing down to your kids. No, just kidding. You should bow down to your kids sometimes, a little bit, not too much. It's hard. I've got a daughter, and I want my daughter to be treated better than my sisters were ever treated by my dad. We're not going to get into that. Next video. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is Ruby Franke, and this is from a month ago. I'm sure you've all seen this. Ruby Franke's daughter breaks silence on YouTube mom's child abuse charges. Now, I haven't seen this. So let's see this.
The last 6 months have been difficult, but I have felt everybody's prayers, lots of therapy, lots of writing. I've written a ton, and it's helped a lot. And I'm ready to start sharing my life again.
Ruby Franke's eldest daughter breaks her silence after her mom, a now accused child abuser, is arrested. KUTV2 News' Brian Schnee is back with us to make sense of Shari Franke's new Instagram post. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, so we want to do a bit of a reaction to the new update in the Ruby Franke case. Franke, of course, is the former Utah YouTuber who documented her life with her husband, Kevin, and their 6 kids on a now defunct channel called 8 Passengers. The controversial videos presented parenting and childcare advice that many saw as strict and even potentially abusive. It's interesting considering now that Ruby and her business partner, Jodi Hildebrandt, have each been charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. After 2 of Ruby's kids were reportedly found malnourished, her son even was displaying lacerations from being tied up. But now Shari Franke, this is Ruby's oldest daughter, has broken her silence after her mom's arrest. Shari had her own social media accounts where she documented her life. She took a break from posting videos, but posted in January saying she's ready to share some of her life again. I got a chance to interview once again Brian Schnee, who is an anchor and reporter from KUTV2 News. He's been covering the Ruby Franke case, and we talked a little bit more about this update.
So now, before we get into what Shari said in this most recent Instagram post, can you just provide us a little bit of context about what we know of the relationship between Shari and her mother, Ruby Franke?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we know is what you've seen play out over the years on social media or on YouTube, right? Because this is a very forward-facing family in the public eye with 8 passengers. I personally was not an 8 passengers viewer before this, but I know a lot of people out there, a lot of people who will see this, have definitely scoured the internet and seen the videos between either the relationship between Ruby and Sherry, or Ruby and Chad. Those are your 2 oldest children out of the 6 passengers, if you will. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and I think we're seeing it play out almost day by day here with just the changes as of late, from Kevin Franke's body camera video of wanting to charge Sherry with a theft after she took some items, to them walking down the steps together at a recent hearing. It's hard to tell if it's all for show or if it's legitimate at this point, but I think time will tell, and we'll figure it out.
Let's just go back here real quick. Look at this beard. Who remembers him from 8 Passengers with the beard? I think he's trying to look older. I think he's really trying to, play this up. Because he did drop the divorce on them just a couple days ago. Last week ago. And obviously, they put stuff in there like, do not or shall not abuse the children. It's like the one of the lawyers is like, you should not, do illegal stuff. So the reason why they did that is just in case it's read out loud. It looks bad for the person who, obviously is in jail. Can't get out to do these things anyway. It says, do not abuse the kids or shall not abuse the kids. Yeah, you do not do, I don't know, war crimes or something, obviously. But it's to make them look bad. So
down the steps together at a recent hearing, it's hard to tell if it's all for show or if it's legitimate at this point, but I think time will tell, and we'll figure it out.
We want to thank Morgan & Morgan, the largest injury law firm in America, for sponsoring this video. Now, before you say, oh, great, another law firm ad, first relationship, he's saying, under over $3
podcast that she broke away from her family after Ruby got, for lack of a better word, connected with Connections, the business that was started by Jodi Hildebrandt, that it was that relationship, Jodi and Ruby, that caused Shari to break away from her family. Am I understanding that correctly?
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but it also sounds like a number of other.
I'm going to have to cut this short, guys. I am so sorry. I'll be right back. Go ahead and just pop this up here real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause.